Hello there and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be trying out the brand new Maybelline Superstay 30-hour activewear foundation. And I'm so out of breath now because that is a very long name. So this is she. You may feel that this foundation looks extremely familiar, and you would be correct. This is a revamped version of the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour foundation. I'm not quite sure why they decided to extend the wear time of this to a 30-hour kind of claimed wear time. I'm sure that there are some people who do wear their foundation for 30 hours, but I would probably say it's few and far between. And I know that the 24-hour version of this foundation is very well loved. It's popular. I'm sure it's sold extremely well. So I'm not quite sure why they decided that it needed to be revamped, and also I'm not quite sure if this 30-hour version is going to completely replace the 24-hour version. I just don't know. So I picked this foundation up from Beauty Bay and it cost £8.70, which I think is an extremely fair price. I have tried the Superstay 24-hour and I really loved that foundation. So if this one is, you know, similar but it lasts longer, I think £8.70 is a really good price. So this foundation, as we've heard, claims to last for up to 30 hours. Look, I've written notes. Can you believe it? Yes, I have. I feel very professional today. It also claims to be water and sweat resistant. It claims to have a high pigment and it's an oil-free formula. It claims to sit comfortably on your skin for up to 30 hours. So I think that's interesting because it's not claiming to look great on your skin for up to 30 hours. It's just claiming that it will sit comfortably up there. It may look like shit, but it will be comfortable, which is the most important thing, of course. And it also claims to be suitable for all skin types, and against that I have simply written lol. Okay, so if you've not watched any of my foundation reviews before, I like to film a first impression and then I'll go away, I'll wear the foundation over a few days just so that I can really kind of thoroughly test it out and form a really good opinion of it. I think it's really important with foundations to, you know, wear them with different primers, wear them with just different makeup in general. There's been times where I've done just a first impression on a foundation, I've worn it for a few hours and I've come back and said, oh my gosh, I love this foundation. But then after I've put the video open, I've actually been wearing the foundation consistently. I've actually spotted a lot of flaws with it. So that's why I now prefer to try out a foundation over the course of a few days. Oh my gosh, so guys, before I start to apply this foundation, I have to just tell you about what's going on my face because I'm sure you have questions. So yesterday I tried this product for the first time. It's by Saint-Tropez and it's a bronzing water face mist. So this had rave reviews on Amazon, and I was just in the market for some kind of facial tanning product, so I had to buy it. So I'm there like spraying it on yesterday. It's got the most beautiful scent to it and it feels really lovely on your face. So me being me, not really thinking about the fact that it's a bronzing spray and it's going to actually bronze my face, I was just like spraying it all over like a face refresher throughout the day. And this is the result. Like, this is the result. I mean, it definitely has bronzed my face, let's face it. It bronzed my face to, like, people on the moon could probably see my face glowing right now. But it's extremely patchy and I'm not quite sure why, because I follow a really rigorous skincare routine. I could not moisturize my face more than I do morning and evening, so I'm not quite sure why it's looking quite so patchy. But anyway, that's my face today. I have a meeting in a couple of hours, so I'm eager to cover all of this up. So I'm really hoping that this foundation will do that, and I'm pretty sure at this point the shade of the foundation that I got is definitely, it's going to be too light for my face. But oh no, I've just realised what is going on. Oh no, guys, what is this? Oh, do you know what? I'm going to have to do some serious exfoliation tonight. It's a shame because I like this product, but I don't like this patchiness. I feel like I'm really putting this foundation's coverage to the test today. It will match my neck, albeit my neck is super patchy, but it's definitely not going to be matching my face right now. So I got this shade Light Bisque, which is shade 22. They do have 20 shades available, I believe. I'm not quite sure if that's correct, but I did a lot of Googling and that's the figure I came to. And yes, I am very out of breath because Andreas and Alex are in the garden playing football and Andreas' shoelace was undone, so I've just ran up the stairs and I'm realising how unfit I actually am. But anyway, guys, I've got my meeting shortly, so I'm going to just have to get on with this application before it's too late. And I'm going to have to show my face like this. So just to let you know, I have dry skin. I struggle with all the things that come with being 36, unfortunately. I have fine lines, I have pores, I have texture, particularly on my chin. I'm not usually a huge fan of high coverage foundations because I do think they can be really unflattering on textured and mature skin. I am much more of a fan of lighter coverage foundations these days, but the reason why I really wanted to try out this foundation was because I really did like the 24-hour version, so I am keen to try this one out. And I do think that fuller coverage foundations do look really good on camera, so this could possibly be one that I would use for filming with my videos. I don't necessarily think I'd be reaching for a full coverage foundation for, you know, going to the office or, you know, something like that. Okay, so we're going to get started with the application. I am going to be using a beauty sponge today, and
Beauty sponge.
This is a bit. Alex has come up to come and see what's going on. This is a beauty sponge. Also, I did apply a face primer today, which is by First Aid Beauty. It's the Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturiser. I absolutely love this. Although you're probably not seeing it in all its beauty right now because my face looks orange, it actually leaves your skin with a real kind of healthy glow. And I've really been enjoying using this on top of my daytime moisturiser just for a bit of extra glow. So I really love this product. If you are interested, I think this one's good too, but I just think I applied way too much. So the jury's out on this one. And I know you're probably thinking, Anwen, your face looks like bright orange. How could you even be considering using that product again? Guys, if you only knew how often I actually sprayed it to my face yesterday, you would be saying, yes, Anwen, you are 100% responsible for this right now. As I said, this is shade Light Bisque. That's what she looks like. I definitely think ordinarily this shade would match my skin. But yeah, we may have a battle today. Yeah, definitely. I'm just hoping that this can cover the orangeness and it can somewhat match my neck. In the directions on the Maybelline website, it did say that you can apply this foundation with a sponge, with a brush, with your fingers. I like it when they just give you all of the options. I really dislike it when foundation directions say you must apply this with your fingers. I hate that. I'm like, excuse me, who made you king of the world? Oh my gosh, this is going on absolutely beautifully. And although I've not used the 24-hour version for a long time, I seem to remember that it did look absolutely flawless on camera, and this one is definitely coming across just as flawless. It's got really good coverage to it. It's going on absolutely beautifully. I only needed to use a tiny amount and it spread really well. I've got good even coverage. I'm just hoping it's not going to super accentuate all of the texture on my chin. I will be showing you what this looks like outside in natural light as well, because I've realised with the last couple of foundation reviews I've done how deceptive studio lighting is. Studio lighting can make anything look marvelous, but I just think it's so important to show what the product actually looks like in natural light, because honestly it's night and day sometimes. And I really wish that all the other YouTubers who try out foundations, I wish that they would take a moment just to go outside just to show you what the foundation looks like in natural light, because yeah, I mean honestly, studio lighting is so deceptive. It just makes everything look perfection. So I think it's crucial just to show the actual reality of the situation. Because let's face it, most people who buy this foundation, they're not going to be buying it to just wear sat in front of studio lights. Unless you're like an actor or, you know, your job means you're in front of studio lights. Maybe you're a porn star or something. But for the majority of people, you're going to be buying this foundation because you want to wear it to Tesco, out and about, to museums with your children, to work, you know. I think that this has done a really, really good job just covering up, you know, the orangeness. It's actually matching my neck, although just, oh my gosh, this product, like, what is it even doing? But anyway, if I just stay like this, okay, it's matching my neck, which is good. So I think ordinarily this shade would be a good match for me, although the jury's out until my face does not look like a burnt orange anymore. I would say that this appears to have dried down to a liquid to powder finish because it does look rather powdery. I don't feel like I'm going to need to set this foundation because I get the feeling it's set itself. It doesn't feel like tacky or sticky or anything. And because I do suffer with dry skin, I try and limit how many kind of powder products I actually put on my face, because the more powder products I put on my face, the drier it gets. So I'm actually not going to set this today. I'm just going to leave it to do its thing. And if I find that maybe tomorrow when I'm trying out the foundation, if I want to set it a bit, I will do then. I'm not going to do that today. So this is what it's looking like. It's definitely looking a bit dry around my nose, I would say. On my chin so far, it's looking okay, but I'm going to just hold off judgment until we actually see it in natural light. It's feeling super comfortable on my skin. It doesn't feel heavy or uncomfortable, you know, like a lot of high coverage foundations can. So yeah, so far so good. And I'm just really thankful that it's covered up the burnt orange look, because that was not working for me today. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and then I'm going to take you on a trip outside so that we can actually see how this foundation looks like in reality, which is natural light, because this studio light, this is not reality right now. It's just not. Okay, so I have completed the rest of my makeup. All of the other products went on beautifully. I had no issues with blending out my contour, blush. Everything just went on perfectly. So I just wanted to show you the final result here. Also, just to mention as well, like, I'm not having any luck with my face right now. So a few days ago, I used this kind of, you know, waxing product to do my eyebrows, and it ended up kind of having a bit of a reaction with my skin. I don't know if you can see like that mark there. I've also got one over on this side. It's just like a patch of dry skin. It's almost like that product burnt my skin and it's left me with a dry patch. So basically I'm having no luck whatsoever with my face or skin, or apparently any products I'm using right now. Yeah, just in case you spotted that and you were like, oh my gosh, Anwen, she is a disaster. Like, what is happening to her? Anyway, guys, I'm going to now take you outside so that we can see what this looks like in reality. Fingers crossed it looks good, because I really am loving how this is looking on camera. But I feel like this is deja vu, because the last two high coverage foundations I've tried, I've been sat here saying the same thing, that it looks perfect on camera, and then as soon as I've stepped foot outside, like, you know, my face just looks absolutely terrible. My skin looks textured, and my chin in particular just looks like, oh my gosh, like what happened to her kind of situation. So fingers crossed it's gonna look good. Okay, so I'm outside. This is what the foundation is looking like. It's definitely looking very dry. It's tough to kind of describe it, but well, actually it's not. It just looks dry as feck. You know, like I said, that it had that kind of liquid to powder kind of finish. I think it's kind of taken that to the extreme level, because it's not just kind of liquid to powder. It just kind of looks like I've put a lot of powder on my face and just kind of neglected to blend it out. It's definitely accentuating all of my pores around my nose. Oddly enough, my chin is not actually looking as bad as it's looked with previous high coverage foundations, so that is definitely a positive. I think my forehead looks nice. I think from a distance it looks quite good, although still accentuating texture around my mouth and chin, but I don't really mind it that much. It's just kind of up close, you know, where you really see kind of dryness. So it's not a total fail by any means, but it's definitely not a total win. You know what I've just realised? Instead of actually going outside in the rain and, risk being overheard by my neighbours, I just realised I could probably just stand in front of a window and show what this product looks like. But, I mean, actually, it's suddenly looking a lot better, isn't it? Do you know what? I just don't think you can beat standing outside in the rain and, at the risk of being overheard by your neighbours, because even now, this foundation looks really good, doesn't it? Like similar to how it looked under the studio lights, but you've just seen it in natural light and it looks completely different. Like, am I crazy or am I the only one that thinks that? Because now this looks amazing, but then just a minute ago when we were actually outside, it looked terrible. But like now, when I'm literally just stood in front of my front door, in front of the pane of glass, it kind of looks good again. So I don't know what's going on anymore. But anyway, guys, I'm going to be wearing this foundation for the rest of the day, but also over the next few days. I'll probably do a couple of check-ins along the way just to show you how the foundation looks after like 8 hours so that you can actually see it. And then at the end, I'll be giving you like my full review of the foundation. So wish me luck, guys. I really am rooting for this foundation because it's really affordable. I really like the 24-hour one. Yeah, I just really want to like this foundation. I've been bashing high coverage foundations a lot recently, so I would like to actually be positive about one if I could, but obviously if it's shit, you will know all about it. So anyway, I'm going to go before the boys kill each other in there. Okay, so it's 4 hours since I last spoke to you. I've just had my meeting and I must say this foundation was looking fabulous in my little Zoom meeting. So I was enjoying that. But it doesn't feel as comfortable as I would want it to feel. Like I can definitely feel it on my face a lot more than I would want to. It looks good on camera is what I'm going to say. In person, slightly different story, but for now I'm definitely not going to write this off. I'm excited to see where this journey leads us to. It'll probably lead us straight to me bashing the foundation for being very, very unflattering on my more mature skin. But you never know, guys. Okay, so it is 6 o'clock. I've had the foundation on since about 8:30 this morning, so I've had it on for a long time. Admittedly not 30 hours, but I'm never going to be wearing this foundation for 30 hours, but I think I've given it a good test today, and unfortunately at about the 2-hour mark, my skin started feeling incredibly dry and I could really kind of feel the foundation on my face. The good thing is it definitely kind of, it's held up really well. So I think if you've got like really oily skin, this would be good. But if you've got dry skin, I just feel like this is going to make your skin feel really, really dry and look dry and accentuate any dry patches. But this is only the first day of the wear test. So I'm going to be wearing it again tomorrow and we shall see. I'm going to go ahead and do some serious exfoliation, particularly on my neck, well, and all of my face, like just everywhere where I applied this bronzing spray. Yeah, this first day of wear has, I would say, been a bit disappointing because this foundation does not feel comfortable on my skin. Also as well, I do just want to say, like, because I've got my studio light on here, it's dark outside, but for once I have a foundation that does not look good under studio lights because it just looks very dry and powdery. Can you see? It's almost like the foundation hasn't melted into my skin. It's just kind of sat atop my skin, like it's dried and it's just like sat on top of my skin looking very dry. Do you know what I mean? Like normally any foundation will look good under a ring light, but even this one is not actually looking good in front of a ring light. So that's definitely an achievement. So it's day 2 of the wear test and I've decided I'm going to switch up some of the other products that I'm using in conjunction with this foundation today, because isn't the definition of insanity doing the same thing and expecting different results. So we're going to be switching up the primer, and I'm also going to be applying the foundation on one side of my face using a brush, which I don't usually do, but I know a lot of you guys probably do. So I'm going to just show you how it applies with a brush, and then on the other side I'm going to be using a sponge, and I'm going to be trying to use less of the foundation as I did yesterday, just to see if maybe less is more. You know what I mean? Maybe I put too much on yesterday, which I do have a tendency to do when trying out foundations for the first time. I just get carried away. The primer we're going to be using today isn't really actually a primer, but this is by Nivea. I was almost going to say Nivea Men. It's not. It's by Nivea. It's aimed at men, but let's face it, man, woman, dog, cat, hamster. I feel like anyone could use this. Probably not hamster though. So this is the Sensitive Post-Shave Balm. I'm just going to shake her up. Shake, shake, shake. Do you remember when Nikki Tutorials did that video on this as being like the best primer in the world? And I must say, I've used it on a number of occasions, and I actually really do like it. It does have quite a suspicious look to it, if you know what I mean. Also, a brief but necessary update on the whole bronzing fiasco. So I exfoliated about 3 times last night. I popped on a facial kind of cleansing oil in the hopes of maybe melting it off, and although I do think I've got a lot of the bronzer off, it's become even more patchy today. And also I realised my ear was very patchy, which I didn't realise yesterday, so that just compounded my anxieties. It just smelled so nice and it felt so good going on. I just kept spraying, I did. We are primed, and I'm going to go in with the foundation. Also, I did want to just say, because I edited the intro or the beginning of this video last night, and I really was not impressed with how the foundation was looking on camera. I think when I was filming I was like, oh yeah, it looks great, and I genuinely thought it did, but then when I was editing last night and, you know, really kind of, you know, paying attention, I didn't think it looked that good at all. Maybe just with a slight change up today of the primer, it may be better. Probably not, but you never know. We have to try, don't we, guys? First, I'm just going to go in with a minimal, and I mean minimal amount, and I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to apply this. So yeah, I do feel like whenever I'm trying a foundation, and especially when I'm doing a review, I can get a little bit distracted and not really pay too much attention to how much I'm actually applying. So I'm just trying to be very conscious of how much I'm actually applying today. This foundation is really bizarre though. It definitely like instantly dries down, and it goes from like liquid to like this powder look, and I'm just hoping that today maybe the foundation will look like it's kind of melted more into my skin as opposed to just sitting on top of my skin. Okay, so I am happy that I've gone in with a very minimal amount over on this side. You can definitely see the patchiness that the bronzer has caused kind of peeping through here. So yeah, I definitely think I've got much lighter coverage than yesterday, which I'm kind of happy with because, as I said in the previous clip, I'm 36 now. I can't get away with a high coverage foundation, and I don't really think it's fair for me to sit here and expect that a high coverage foundation is going to look flawless on me, because I think high coverage foundations are more geared towards younger skin, which is ironic really, seeing as younger skin, they don't have half the imperfections of generally of more mature skin. So why would you even need a high coverage foundation when you're younger? I don't know. Okay, so on the other side I'm going to go in with this brush, and again I'm going to grab the tiniest amount of product. So I don't tend to use brushes to apply my makeup. It's not that I don't like using brushes, but I just much prefer using a sponge because I just feel like it's easier, it's quicker, and you generally get a lighter coverage. But I just want to show you today how this applies with a brush, just so that you can see. I think it's looking really beautiful. Not much difference to the sponge side in terms of like the finish. Definitely applied nice and easy with the brush, just for info, but I'm going to just feck the brush right off now because The sponge is my comfort zone. So we're going to go back in with the sponge. I've got a tiny bit of product and we're just going to finish the forehead off. Also, I did just want to touch upon the fact that, 20 shades is definitely super disappointing for such a big brand like Maybelline. I think they can do so much better. Okay, so I've finished the full face. It's actually looking very dodgy on my nose and I'm not quite sure why. I exfoliate almost every day and I know skincare junkies out there, you're going to be thinking, Anwen, you can't believe you actually exfoliate every single day. I use a very mild, like very like mildly abrasive kind of exfoliator, but I don't know what's going on my nose. Like, it can feck right off right now because I ain't got time for it. So yeah, we definitely do have a much lighter coverage over on this side. But do you know what? It's fine because we're going out to Tesco today, but I'm going to be wearing a mask. So this is where actually wearing a mask really comes in handy, of course, other than to protect you from viruses, like, of course. But the other benefit is if you're having a bad makeup day or, you've got a big spot, then a face mask is actually really, really good. Okay, so we're just on our way to Tesco's and I just wanted to show you what... Hi! I just wanted to show you what the foundation looks like in natural light. So this is what things are looking like today. Still looking very powdery and still looking like it's not melted into my skin. It's just kind of sat there, so wait. Okay.
That one. Mum.
Right, okay, come on.
Allow me, my lady.
Okay.
Hello. Lip balm. Hold on, just take a picture of my bag.
I'm not taking a picture of your bag, and your bag's fabulous anyway. Okay, so we've just got back from shopping. I was really quite hot in the shops because I had my face mask on and my big winter coat, and for some reason Tesco decided to just put the heating on full blast today. But I must say that the foundations held up really well. I mean, I know it's a bit distracting because, we've got this like weird kind of bronzing mark over here and the patchiness over here and something else over there. Let's just blame it on the bronzing. But I actually think the foundations held up really, really well and it's looking actually okay. Do I think it looks great? No, I don't. But it's not terrible. Like, it's still all there. Even, it's not kind of rubbed off at all where my mask has been. Although the only thing I will say is I do think that I've got a little bit oily just around my nose and on my forehead because I've not put any highlighter on today at all. I've just got a glowy blush. But I do think that, yeah, I'm looking at just a little bit shiny. Similar to yesterday, I can definitely still kind of feel this on my face and it does not feel the comfiest. But I kind of feel like, when you're buying a high coverage foundation, that's kind of part of the course, really. It's just, it's probably going to be quite heavy feeling on the face, in my experience. So, by the way, I hate it when people say in my experience because I just think it sounds really patronising. So, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to be patronising. Okay, so it's the end of the second day of the wear test. I've had the foundation on for only about 6.5 hours today. But I've reached a point where I've kind of made a decision about how I feel about this foundation. So I just decided I'm calling it quits now. Although I really, really loved the Superstay 24-hour version of this foundation, unfortunately, I am just not a fan of this one. The reasons behind that mainly is that although this foundation claims to be suitable for all skin types, I just don't think it's suitable for dry skin types. I know I've kind of repeated this throughout the video, but it's clear to see that this foundation is a liquid to powder kind of situation, and I think if you've got dry skin, that's just not really going to be the best type of foundation to use because ultimately it's going to just look very dry on your skin, and if your skin already looks dry, this foundation is just going to compound that. Now, I definitely don't think that high coverage foundations cannot be worn. if you've got mature skin, I know loads of women and men who have mature skin that love high coverage foundations, and everybody is just so different in what they want and what they like and what they enjoy. But for me, as a 36-year-old woman, my skin, it's over high coverage foundations, and I've kind of made a decision now in this video that I'm probably not going to test out any other high coverage foundations, because I don't really think it's too fair, and I probably sound like a broken record, but for me to be sat here time after time after time trying out high coverage foundations and saying the same things, which is, I just don't think it particularly flatters more mature and textured skin. So I kind of made a decision that going forward, I'm probably not going to be reviewing any more high coverage foundations. I don't really think that I'm probably the best person to be reviewing them, because ultimately I am just not a fan of high coverage foundations. You know what? I've got to keep it 100% honest, as I always will. And I don't necessarily think this foundation is a bad foundation. I just would not recommend it if you've got more mature skin that is quite textured, or you've got lots of pores or fine lines. If you've got dry skin, I definitely wouldn't recommend this foundation. If you don't like to feel a foundation on your face, if you're more a fan of very light feeling hydrating foundations, then I would not recommend this foundation. So one positive about this foundation that I really did like was that it definitely does hold up over time. I would recommend this foundation if you've got oily skin. I think it would actually be a really good fit for oily skin types, and I think this whole liquid to powder kind of finish, I think that would really help to maybe soak up any excess oils. Also, I just want to confirm that neither today or yesterday did I set my face with powder. So I do believe that if you're going to wear this foundation, you don't need to have powder on over the top, unless of course you are very oily, then it may be best to. But anyway guys, I hope that this video has been somewhat helpful. I kind of feel like I hope that I don't sound like a broken record, and I hope that me coming to this realization now that high coverage foundation, they're just not for me. And I'm definitely not saying that if you've got mature skin then you shouldn't wear high coverage foundation, because that's definitely not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that me, as an example of having mature skin, personally for me, I am not going to be buying any more high coverage foundations, because I just don't think it's flattering on my skin. And I'm definitely going to be focusing more on tinted moisturizers and light to medium coverage foundations going forward. I really hope that this video has been somewhat helpful to you if you are interested in this foundation. Maybe you were thinking of giving it a go. I really hope that this video could maybe answer some questions that you may have about the foundation. But for me personally, I'm not going to be using it again, not even to fill my videos in, because I actually think that this is the first foundation that I've met that does not look good under studio lighting, because I just think that when you're looking at my face now, it looks kind of powdery again. I've put a load of loose powder on my face, but I've just neglected to blend it in. It looks like it's just simply sat on top of my face. Also, I'm just noticing that a lot of the foundation has come off on the bridge of my nose as well. So yeah, I just don't think this foundation looks flattering at all. And definitely if you've got mature skin, I just don't think it would look the best. I think it would emphasize everything you did not want emphasized. But then again, who would this be good for? Because if you're younger and you've not really got much texture, fine lines, pores on your skin, why would you even need a high coverage foundation anyway? Especially one that does feel quite heavy on the skin. I don't really know who this foundation would be good for, but as we know, everyone's skin is different, and this foundation could probably be someone else's favorite foundation in the world, and they would be looking at the foundation that I love, like my holy grail foundation, and they would be saying, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Who would even want to wear this? What mature skin woman would want to wear this? You know what I mean? So anyway, if I missed anything out, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments if you've got any questions, or if there's just anything that I didn't really touch upon, please just go ahead and ask me. And anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching the video today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.